Hello guys and welcome to my channel. We have a guest today. His name is Michael. Michael, thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure being here.
Thank you. And as you know, I passed Toefl and you guys asked me if IELTS is a good exam, whether you should pass it. So Michael took IELTS test and he's actually an IELTS tutor and he scored 8.5 out of 9, which is amazing. And I'm going to ask him today about tips and tricks, how to take IELTS, what's the difference between Toefl and IELTS. So yeah, let's discuss differences first. Which exam to take?
If you can afford to do that, take the IELTS. Some American schools don't accept it, most do, and in that case take the IELTS basically. The IELTS is simply more comfortable, I guess, more convenient to take, because on the TOEFL you have to speak into a mic and
to a computer
it can
screen.
be noisy, and for most, at least for most of my students, it's much harder to prepare for 15 seconds and then to deliver something into the mic for 45 seconds than to have an actual, normal, relaxed conversation with a native speaker as you do on the IELTS.
So on IELTS they just give you a topic and you discuss it and that's it, right?
They ask you some questions, then they give you a topic, you deliver a 2-minute presentation on that, which you should have prepared in advance, of course. Then they ask you some more questions, so overall it's a fairly free-flowing but scripted conversation, and it's much easier.
Yeah, I think well, TOEFL speaking part was the most difficult part for me, because when I saw that part I was like, I have to talk to a computer 6 questions, seriously?
Yes, and that's you who are fluent in English, so that's why I suggest taking the IELTS. On the IELTS the examiner is a native speaker. They tend to be a teacher too, so they have their own students. They understand it's not that easy for people to take exams. So they are fairly friendly. That's a much better deal, I would say.
Yeah, is it true that IELTS language is very different from TOEFL, because TOEFL is an American test, IELTS is British?
No, not really. You don't have to follow any standards of British or American English. You can do whatever you like there, as long as you're consistent, though, I might add. So if you use British spelling, use that throughout. If you use American spelling, use that.
Okay.
But the language itself, I mean the language of the tests and the listening part, it's not particularly British or American. I mean, it is British, but it's not like it's difficult at all to understand them. So
yeah, sure. And how's the test structured? So when you come into the classroom, you have reading and listening.
you have 3 tasks in a row. That's listening, reading, and writing. And then you have speaking on a separate at a separate time, perhaps even on a separate day, because they they have a limited supply of native speakers on the TOEFL. You just record everything and then they will review it later. But on the IELTS they have to have an actual examiner, so they schedule it differently.
And what about the reading part? So mostly for TOEFL, what I noticed is that the tasks are pretty similar to textbook tasks. So it's basically you read a text, you answer the questions. Is it the same for IELTS?
Almost, except that on the TOEFL the question types are fairly limited. You are asked about some details and what words mean, and maybe the key features of some theory or something. On the IELTS, however, there are many more different types of questions. They'll ask you to find the right order of paragraphs. They will ask you what sort of information is found where in the text. They'll give you normal multiple choice questions. They'll ask you whether something is true or false based on the text, and so on. So the question types are much more varied, but the reading itself, it's pretty similar. I wouldn't say it's easier or harder. I think it's pretty much the same.
Okay, and what is the maximum score that your students scored on IELTS?
8.5 too.
8.5?
Yeah.
Great. That's amazing. I mean, it's very difficult to score the high score, because even native speaker students score 9, because there are certain things like what do you write in your essay, you never know what's expected.
Yeah, it's quite hard to get a 9, although possible, but 8.5 is doable. You have to be fairly fluent, of course. scores. I'm not most proud of that actually. I'm most proud of the students who scored 7.5, even though I would classify them as upper intermediate at best. Now that was the part I was very thrilled about.
Impressive, yeah. And let's talk a little about writing. So writing is also different. You have to write with your own hand.
Yes,
which is
so
pretty
you want to
medieval.
practice that. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Today that needs practice.
Yeah, so you need to practice, you need to make sure your writing is understandable, because if people don't understand what you wrote, then it's just a mistake, right? They will just reduce the score.
You will get a penalty, definitely. So.
Okay. And also another thing, when you prepare for IELTS or for any exam, I think it's very important to have feedback on your speaking and your writing, because you can download a lot of books, and I will leave a couple of links below for IELTS books, and you can download different programs where you automatically would get evaluated on what you've done, like on your performance in reading and listening. But when we talk about writing and speaking, you need to have
some real person feedback. Otherwise, it's hard to know where.
Yeah, so I'd say
you can improve.
Yeah, minimum, like, what's the minimum, like 2 lessons?
I think yes. Often I had 2 lessons with students, and that was enough.
Yeah, even if you decided to prepare everything yourself, like take at least 2 lessons.
Yeah, a couple lessons.
Just to get feedback, because otherwise you will just get into the test, and then you realize after you get your score that your score wasn't enough, and then you take the stress again, take the test again, and pay more money. So I think it's better to practice with a tutor first.
Yep.
Maybe the last advice to people who are getting ready for IELTS.
One useful tip is before the speaking part, it's on a separate day, perhaps on the same day but at a different time, and it's actually very, very convenient. You can phone somebody and speak English just before the test.
You know what? We
10
have
minutes,
this service.
20 minutes. Oh, really?
Yeah, we have this service.
Oh,
I talked about it on my channel, when you can just press a button and instantly connect to a person who wants to speak English. And if you call during American midday, you would talk to an American. During European midday, you would meet people from like different backgrounds but speaking English very well. So I would recommend that, because it's a random person, you don't see that, and I think it's a great experience in terms of stress.
Yeah, it's just sort of a language warm-up. You don't want to go into the class and speak English for the first time in a few days, basically. That's not the best for your
score. And also
before
the exam, like on the day of the exam, try to speak English.
Yes,
to yourself.
Yeah.
In a bathroom.
Yeah, even that is very beneficial. So. And the same with reading, say on the day before the exam, don't study, that's not the best, but read an English novel, so somehow, I don't know, that puts your brain on the right wavelength, I guess.
And I also sometimes I imagine that I'm talking to some actor, for example, like I watched a film, I saw an actor, and then I'm kind of discussing something with him, and I'm doing that in my mind in English, and if nobody's home I can do it aloud, and I think it's great for practice.
Yes, it definitely is. I would add that it's probably good in general for your English skills, not only for the test, but especially it's especially useful just just before the test.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you so much, Michael, for useful information. And guys, if you need any help with preparation, the link will be below, and you will be able to book a lesson with Michael. And please let me know if you have any questions about IELTS. Leave them in the comments. We're going to answer them. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and we're going to see more videos with Michael soon. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.